Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to CryptoTraders Room. This is your host, Jonas, aka Crypto Trader. Hope everybody's doing well in this jitteriness of a market that we're having currently with all this possible FUD. Is it FUD? Is it real news? Who knows what to believe? But people are panicking. People are panicking and looking for the exit. So whether it's a great buying opportunity or not, that's a decision you have to make. But yeah, let's take a look at a couple things. Andreas, welcome. Oni, good morning. Let's see what else we got in the room. Everybody's being shy. And I'm hoping you guys can hear me. So if you can, please let me know. East Chan, good morning. Good morning. All right. So of course, market is down. Let's take a look at real quick coin market cap, look at the overall market cap. But, there is going to be support at that 114 billion market cap. So let's kind of see exactly where it's at currently. And that was the nice drop that we had. So 120 million market cap. Let's take a look and see exactly what did it get to today? Because that 114 should be a good support level for it. And that's in the sense of the overall market cap. And then we can take a look at BTC heavily and plot out a couple of things. But the question is, I'm sure that everybody is asking is this the time to get in? Is it the time to take a position? As long as this cooperates properly. Vince Vegas, welcome, buddy. Welcome. All right, so let's see. This thing's not cooperating with me. I'm having lagging issues today, so hopefully this live stream goes pretty smooth. Looks like 115 was a high, and that was right around June. So right around June 23rd, something to that extent. Oh, I'm sorry. That was not June 23rd. June 14th, $115.45 billion was the market cap. So that should be support for it, unless it decides to really completely break that support, and then it looks for the other supports, and then the other supports, of course, for the total market cap is going to be right in the range of $103 billion. So, hopefully it doesn't break 100 billion in total market cap, because that's just a free fall from the 175 that it was at. And this is the market that we deal in. It's very volatile, and dips can happen anytime. And this is an extended dip, a very extended dip. Matthew, good morning. Keebs, good morning. SkyTech from Cali, good morning. The Dubai review. Step 1 of bottoming has happened. Now waiting for step 2 and 4. Yeah, I don't think this is done until, really, PBOC can come out and kind of clarify exactly some of this news that's being spread, because nothing official has really come out from them. So we really got to be careful. Definitely a bargain day. Definitely a bargain hunting day. And I've talked about this in the past. As long as you have capital waiting on the sideline, there are opportunities out there for you to take advantage of. Unfortunately, if you don't have any capital, then what do? Do you go from one alt to another alt when that alt is dropping? Between the Hurricane China and Jamie Dimon. Yeah, Jamie Dimon. Very smart guy, but yeah, trying to spread FUD. Scott M, are you on this? I'm a good friend, buddy. But yeah, so I do apologize for not being able to do a live stream yesterday. And I actually did not think I'd be able to do a live stream today. I actually canceled my physical therapy appointment that I had. So that's why I'm able to do this live stream. But yeah, initially there was no live stream today. And yesterday it was just a busy, busy day. But I'm at least able to catch up and kind of make up for the live stream that I did miss. BTCC stopping all trading by September 30th. Now did that come out from BTCC? Now, I did see that report, but I didn't really read into it too much. I got a little busy this morning trying to get my kids ready. But yeah, did that official news come out from BTCC? I don't know. So if you can tell me, that'd be great. Now, remember, all this FUD, there's going to be tons of FUD that is going to be spread. It really is. And it causes a lot of jitteriness within the market. It causes people, you know, that to have that fear. And when they have that fear, they have that uncertainty. And when they have that uncertainty, they have the doubt. And when they have that doubt, that's when panic selling ensues. So yeah, you know, I got a message today, you know, when I logged on to Slack, and I thought it was one of the best messages. It said, be cool and stay warm, in the sense that, you know, don't panic, and be warm in the sense that grab your favorite adult beverage to kind of keep you company. But yeah, you know, I mean, watching this like a hawk is going to cause you to panic. I'm not panicking at all. I did add to a position, so let's go ahead and share that with you guys. In the previous live stream, I had a buy order at $60 for Litecoin. $60, $60 for Litecoin. You guys think I got in at $60 or what? And it dropped to 47. And I mean, you know, coming from a high of $98 on GDAX to come down to 47, I mean, those are pretty significant drops, very significant. But I currently do have a position in LTC. So yeah, BT, so then it was on their Twitter page. Hopefully their Twitter wasn't hacked. I don't know about their official website. That's probably something I would look at. I mean, if you look at a news that's on Twitter or any other news outlet, verify it with their official website. That's kind of what I would do. And if it's on their official website, then, you know, you have concrete evidence that they are going to be stopping operations. But yeah, I mean, anybody can hack their Twitter and put out a message. But we haven't heard anything about China, you know, banning cryptocurrency. Yes, they're banning ICOs, but banning cryptocurrencies, they haven't really come out and said that all cryptocurrencies are banned, you know, effective immediately, something to that extent. So, I mean, you know, in my opinion, it's a lot of fun. Yes, I believe that they are banning ICOs for a fact, 100%. They made that announcement. But any other announcement that's really coming out that's not from the actual source, I would just be very careful. Yeah, it's tough to believe, you know, anything that's written these days. You really got to think outside the box and really take it with a grain of salt. You wish you had some fiat available, Mr. Black. Ah, dude. I think a lot of people are probably in your position, you know. It's always good to have something on the sideline. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at LTC. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the chat. So if you guys are saying something important, I probably won't be able to see it. But, you know, so the long lines that I have drawn out were basically, you know, resistance or support from a while back. And then I went ahead and put out the Fibonacci retracement, kind of going down to the low that we had set before really we took off to almost 5,000. So that low that it had set was 1826. So really I just took, you know, the Fibonacci retracement down to 1826 as a 0%. And of course the high of 49.70, but it actually listed it as 49.09. I could probably raise it up a little bit, but I won't. So that's going to be a Fibonacci retracement. And of course she has come down and broken key levels. And these are key levels that traders kind of look to support something. But, you know, they're going to look to support it at that 6108 if there isn't crazy FUD that's being spread. If this is just normal profit taken, this is not normal profit taken at all. This is fear. This is uncertainty. This is doubt. This is panicking. You know, this is where the sky is falling. So technical indicators at this moment, you know, they're not going to be 100% reliable because there's just too much panic that's going on. So, I mean, it didn't even get a bump up at all at that 61.8 Fibonacci retracement, which was the 3,731. And, you know, just keep in mind that we are looking at Bitfinex on a 12-hour candlestick chart. So every candlestick represents 12 hours worth of price movement, but it crashed through it. It didn't hold at all at that level. And that's kind of what I expected to see if it would hold that level. And the second level that it should have held was really the nice dip that we had here on this candlestick. And that dip was to 35.99. And I remember I had an order in for 3,400 and it never got there. I do remember that drop though. But yeah, it didn't even hold that support at all, which is really in between the 61.8 and the 50% retracement. So currently right now, you know, really we're getting close to that 50% retracement. We're getting close to our 200-day moving average, and our 200-day moving average puts it right at 32. And I know Andy Codner, you're probably not on this, but you know, you were texting me yesterday, but yeah, 3,200 is pretty solid as a possible nice bounce. Now, I'm not talking about an extended bounce, but possibly, you know, having to hit 3,200 and bouncing up to 36, 37, possibly. But, you know, normally, you know, if it does touch that 200-day moving average and it bounces off of it, it is going to be a nice little bounce off of it, but I wouldn't overstay that trade at all. If you are in BTC, I'm currently not in BTC at all at this moment, but that's going to be a crucial level. And if it breaks that 200-day moving average, 38.20 retracement, the 38.20 retracement is going to be a key level, and that really puts it right at $3,000. I mean, I know it's scary to say, for it to get to 3,000, but really overall, we're looking at almost a 40% retracement. Let's just say, from 5,000 to 3,000, it's a 40% retracement. And we've seen things kind of retrace, 50%, possibly 60%. So if PBOC or, the Chinese government don't really come out and clarify exactly what is going on and what their motive behind, some of this news that's coming out is, then, I mean, she could just keep falling, until she gets some sort of positive news, something that kind of solidifies. China's not out to ban all cryptocurrencies. They're just out there to protect their citizens and ban, these ICOs, these scams that are being created. But I can see later on, them clarifying and saying, what, the only, coins that anybody can trade or these exchanges can operate is going to be Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, those 3 cryptocurrencies. One moment, guys. All right. But yeah, so it's looking a little scary, but as long as you're patient with it, it is a great opportunity. It really is. Let's take a look at Litecoin, and I'll try to get to some of your comments. Keebs, thanks for that message, man. Yeah, if you guys find this information helpful, you enjoy this live stream, pound that like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Chuck Merkel, China is not banning exchanges. Yeah, dude, Kofi, thank you for writing that. Like I said, until it comes out of PBOC, an official statement, anybody can write something, and make it look somewhat official. Anybody can hack, and I'm sure their website can be hacked as well too. But anybody can hack their Twitter and any of their social media sites and put out a tweet. Dude, it's kind of hard for me to tell you what to do with your ETH. It really is. And you guys know that I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so I really can't advise you of your trade. You have to do what's best for you. I can't tell you to hold. I can't tell you to sell. I'm holding my ETH. The time to sell was a little under $400 when I got to 395, 390, 380. That was really the time to sell. And if you didn't sell at that time, then, for me, personally, it's too late to sell. I didn't take advantage of that. All right, LTC. I don't know if you guys got into LTC. Yeah, it's tough to tell people, Christian, to just hodl. It really is tough. I mean, because, they might have a plan of execution, and their strategy was, to minimize their loss and kind of, maybe wait for a bigger dip if it does dip. So that's why, I don't like telling people, to sell or to hold. You really got to do what's best for you. I'm going to do what's best for me, and I'll tell you guys what I'm doing. But that doesn't mean what I'm doing for myself is the best thing for you to do for yourself. You really have to evaluate that. But yeah, everything is retracing. So really, I mean, we just have to kind of wait it out and see if it finds that bottom and get clarification from China. What is going on with cryptocurrency, and just don't panic. Do not panic. So as you guys know from the past, I had let's go ahead and look at a smaller chart. We'll do a half an hour. So from the previous live stream, I had an open order sitting in the book for a while at $60. And when Charlie Lee, put out the tweet, and to be honest with you, that whole Charlie Lee thing, I don't think he's the type of person that would manipulate. And I've watched a lot of his interviews. He seems a very, honest, genuine type of person. And I don't think, he doesn't want to, pump, Litecoin. He's not looking to pump Litecoin. He wants it, to have a nice movement based on the fundamental, based on the technical. He's not out to spread any type of FUD. And he got a lot of backlash about it. He really did. Which I thought was wrong. And, he might be right. He might be right. There's just somebody's just not telling us something, nothing official is being released. And I don't think he's the type of person that would just spread some sort of FUD. If he wasn't, at least 80% certain, I would say. All right. So $60 was what I had that order in, Saw the tweet from Charlie Lee. I realized, okay, you know what? That $60 is not even worth it to keep it on the book. And I think the price at that time was 65 bucks. Or it might have been a little higher than that, really. Yeah, it was actually a lot higher than that. It was like 67 because I remember dipping to 65 and it was really holding 65. But I went ahead and changed it to 55. And then, once all this FUD is just being spread, I realized, you know what, 55 is going to be executed and it's going to be executed. And I won't be able to sell at 60 because it's just probably going to end up free falling to possibly 50. So 50 is my entry. And of course, once I got in, it dropped to 47 bucks. But, we'll see what it does. And my plan of execution is sell at 55. And that's kind of what I have my order set to sell at 55 bucks if we do get a nice push to the upside. And there was one candlestick where it dropped to 52. I got to look at this a little more granular. But it dropped to 52 and then, or 51 and change, and then it went right up to 55. So 55 and then came right back down, of course. So that 55 is going to be a resistance. And that's why I'm looking to sell at 55. So here we go right here. Was at this candlestick here where she came down to 51, 58 and shot up right up to 55. And I mean, that's a difference of, $3.50 there. So that 55 is the resistance where I don't think it's going to get above that. And that's basically cracking right above, just a little bit above our 100-day moving average. And if she can get there, just have a nice little pull up to the upside, she will come right back down and retest this 50 again. So, I'm going to stick to that plan. If it goes higher, oh well. If it doesn't and it retraces from there, then I'll have some of the profit and the capital to add back to a larger position. Hopefully. That's the game plan. That is the game plan. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at Bitfinex as well, too, because I do have an open order on Bitfinex that has not been executed yet. Let me see some of your comments. Just missed the first dip to 40-ish. Yeah, unless you have that open order in the book, it's easy to miss. It really is. And 47 was a low. So even if you put in 45, 46, you wouldn't have had it executed. You're waiting for old support of 160 euros. Yeah, we'll take a look at F, but that's a possibility. I mean, anything's possible today in this market. Do I think if Charlie Lee wouldn't have tweeted, we would have fallen that deep? It would just only have been a matter of time. Only a matter of time, I think it had a little bit of an effect. But, there's more tweets that are coming out. So it wasn't just his tweet, of course, China Ledger is putting out those tweets about China banning, all cryptocurrencies. So I don't know. I don't think it would have made much of an impact, but it's still, it just intensified that jitteriness. That's really what it did. It intensified people's fear and uncertainty and doubt, which caused that panic. No, Keebs, yeah, 50 bucks isn't bad. It's not bad. So we'll see, better than possibly 60, better than possibly having an entry at 60. So, or even 55, that's for sure. So I'm up $1. But, we'll see exactly what this does. And if it gets to 55, it'll execute. And, I'll be happy with it. See, I did not know that Charlie Lee's brother ran BTC China. I did not know that. Yeah, it intensified it a little bit. It just added fuel to the fire. That's really what it did. And he did remove that tweet. I'm sure, he got a lot of backlash out of it. And I'm sure people that were diehard, BTC or not BTC, Litecoin fans probably didn't appreciate that tweet. Because really that hurts Litecoin, and it has. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what do we want to look at here? I'm going to get rid of the chat real quick. Let's take a look at OMG. So a lot of you guys know I had a position in OMG. I had 125 left. Or I bought like 145. I sold 20. I think it was a little under 20 at $12.50. And then I was very fortunate enough where OMG put out a tweet saying, we're going to be listed on Poloniex. And I had a sell order at 1350, and that 1369 was the top. And I basically came to the conclusion that, if this thing breaks out, it might have a hard time breaking above 1350. And I'm happy selling at 1350, and it hit 1368 or 69. And then it heavily pulled back. So I'm completely out of that trade. I don't have any OMG left, but I'm looking to take advantage of this OMG drop if my chart cooperates with me. And the order that I have is $7.50. Rocky Mountain, welcome, buddy. You had a good amount of OMG. Yeah, I do remember that. And sold a majority at 0.003. Kind of have to do the math. I don't know what that is in USD. 0.003 times, let's just say, what's the price now? 4,200. No, actually, yeah, I wish it was 4,200. What is the price? What is the price? Let's just say 3,500. So you sold at 1050, I'm assuming, something to that extent, possibly. Maybe a little higher than that. But yeah, I was fortunate, to be honest with you. If I didn't have that order in the book, because really this thing went up quick. It went up really quick. And I wasn't even in front of my computer. I just received an alert saying executed at 1350. And I was like, whoa, executed. I'm like, what happened with OMG? Like, how did it go up from, basically $11.50 all the way to 1350? And I came and looked at it and I was like, whoa, okay, they put out a tweet. And at that time I was looking to get in and I was looking to see, if it would test that 11 range again, but it didn't test it right away. It tested it, basically an extended period after that. And then of course, with all the FUD being spread, I just took that order off and I said, there's no sense in me getting in at 11. If it gets to 11 and has a nice bounce, that's great. If it doesn't, oh well. I'll wait for a bottom support of 750. BTC was up at that time, so that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, dude, good strategy. Good strategy. And you actually locked in majority of your profit as well too. Instead of only selling a little bit, you sold 370. So that's a good strategy. It really is. With the way I played OMG, selling 125 at 1350, it could have gone up from there. It really could have, because it had positive news, but there was still all that uncertainty that was going on. So for me to sell everything, it worked out. But a lot of times it doesn't work out that way at all, where it executes and you sell everything and then it dips back down. Normally they do end up taking a nice little run back up and then coming back down. Are we mad today, Jim? No, dude. You shouldn't be mad. If you're mad, then yeah, that's going to cause that uncertainty. It's going to cause that doubt, and it's going to cause you to panic and sell. So no, dude, don't be mad. Hopefully nobody's mad. You parked it in LTC. So, and that's, we've talked about that in the past. I mean, it could work both ways. There are traders that go from alt to alt, or, cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency. And there's some that, that go from cryptocurrency to USD or USDT. But yeah, that's kind of the risk you take, when you're going from one alt, one cryptocurrency to another cryptocurrency. If it's on a downtrend, whatever you go into, you swap it to, then yeah, that's going to take a dip as well too. Yeah, Rocky Mountain. So that 14 was on Bittrex, because it didn't hit 14 anywhere else. So yes, on Bittrex, it did hit that $14. But yeah, I mean, if you're able to get out at 13, anything above 13, that's good. Or even 12 or even 10, really, as long as you got out with a profit, that's all that matters, to be honest with you, especially in this market that we're in right now. So yeah, don't kick yourself because, wow, I could have got out at 13.50 and I didn't, and I got out at $9 and end up still being a profit. Now, dude, pat yourself on the back, be happy, because it definitely has snowballed and has come down. So let's take a look at that 750. Let's go ahead and zoom out of here. If this chart cooperates with me. Rocky Mountain. I like that attitude. I do, man. That's an awesome attitude to have, yeah, if you couldn't afford it, why put it in there? So, and you always want to play with money you don't need, that you don't, when I say you don't need, not you don't need that in the sense that, you can lose it, in the sense that you don't need it to pay your bills. You don't need it to, put food on the table. All right. So 1750, yeah, right. 733 was the low that it touched here. So with this FUD, everything that's being spread, there's a possibility that she could come down to it. There's a possibility she could completely crack through it and get to 6, So 6 does seem like to be a good support, but, I want to be just maybe a little bit aggressive and try to cash that 750 for a nice little bounce up. to be honest with you. It's not going to be a big bounce. I'm not expecting much. And really, we should not be expecting much at all in this type of market. You know, if you get a good entry and it goes up a little bit, you know, I mean, this is really just micro trading. This is scalping. You know, you're just really, that's the only way to kind of play this market at this time. Either that or just, you know, buy and hold and don't even look at the chart. Just go out and enjoy your day. Have a beer, you know, don't even try to think about cryptocurrency. And then you'll come back and be like, whoa, what happened? Did I miss something? More than likely, yeah, it'll be right back up. 2x FUD coming back for BTC. It's just been, you know, FUD after FUD after FUD. That's really what it's been. Like I said, the only thing I believe is just the ICOs being banned, and that's about it. Yeah, the only thing I'm really heavily long on is, of course, Ether and Sand. Sand has just kind of turned into dust, but I'm not even really looking at Sand and paying attention to it. Now, if I do end up making, you know, a little bit of profit off of these nice little bounces, then, you know, I might put more into it. But at this time, probably not. Even though this would heavily lower my cost average, there's really no sense in me putting more money into something that has already fallen so much. So I'm going to kind of wait that out, but I'm not going to panic and sell it. It's not really worth it. And really, I'm not down too much on Sand. Yes, for my current position, I am, but also remember, you know, I had a very large position and I took a very nice profit in the past. So I'm kind of giving back the profit that I've taken from it. You know, that's kind of the way you have to look at it. You know, I wouldn't look at this in the sense that, you know, oh, I went from, I'm just making up some numbers here. You know, I went from 50,000 to, you know, 25,000. You know, with this market drop, I wouldn't look at it that way at all. I would look at it in the sense that, oh, yeah, you know, I started with 10,000, went up to 50,000. Now it retraced to 25,000. I'm still up. You know, so look at the overall picture. Don't look at, you know, what you had and what it's dropped to currently, because that will discourage you. Look at it, you know, from when you started and say, all right, you know, I'm still up. You know, I haven't given back the capital that I started out with. Yeah, it sucks to lose the profit, but, you know, as long as you don't have that type of mentality, you'll be fine. So 750, 001, of course. I always got to put in that 001, depending what decimal point it is. But it did reach 810. So, you know, we'll see if she gets a nice little violent dip like she's been having here with these very large candles, you know, basically having a difference of $1.40. You know, that's really what this is. It's $1.40 drop from the high to the bottom. So we can get that at any time, you know, with any of these candlesticks here to get that execution. Looks like that call from 3K is coming. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen at any time. And yeah, this is the time to be prepared. This is the time to be ready. But yeah, that 3,000 is really what we looked at in the sense of the, you know, that Fibonacci retracement. Let me go back to it. But there has to be, you know, there has to be traders to support at that level. So Fibonacci retracement goes out the window. Really, all these technical indicators go out the window if the support is not there, and if there's just way too much FUD that's being spread, then it's going to cause it to even dip further. But yeah, you know, once I get rid of all my USD and I don't have any USD left, you know, it's time for me to grab a beer and just relax, and maybe not even, you know, watch the charts for a couple hours. It's like I got to keep zooming out of this chart. But 33.67 is going to be the 50% retracement. And my support that I plotted out in the past meets up right up at the 38.2 retracement. So that 3,000 is going to be key. Will be the key resistance or support, actually. If it breaks that, I don't want to say 2,500, but that's a possibility. That is definitely a possibility. So on the longer time frame, which is the 1 day, let's go ahead and go back to that real quick. Try to remember where that 200-day moving average was. 3180, 3184, 3200. That hopefully that is the bottom. Hopefully that is the bottom if traders are looking to trade on that 200-day moving average. If they're not, then yeah, they're 3,000 is in sight. But it seems to have calmed down just a little bit, and we're not getting a domino effect of selling that's just intensifying. Yeah, let me try to be as interactive as I can with you guys and hopefully answer some questions as we're kind of watching this this market try to somewhat stabilize. When I say somewhat, because we are having dead cat bounces here and there. So a lot of these are going to be scalping opportunities, from 47 all the way up to 52, 53. I mean, those are just scalping opportunities. Those $5 scalps, within 45 minutes or so, I would say no more than an hour. No more than an hour. Does anyone here short crypto? I'm sure some do, if your platform allows you to. I know GDAX doesn't have margin anymore, so you really can't utilize GDAX to short. But Ken, welcome. First time I'm seeing your name. And yeah, and if you guys are a new time viewer, welcome. I'm glad you guys found us. And don't forget to click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification, and stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And we are simultaneously streaming this on Steemit. So if you're on Steemit, thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Let's see, Matthew, you're in the same boat as a lot of people. Yeah, you're not the only one. So just, keep that in the back of your head that you're not the only one in this position if you do have a position. And of course, the market's tanking. This is just the beginning. Yeah, until something is clarified, out of China. But China can't have this much dominance on a whole market. They can't. Imagine if they did this in the U.S. market, if they had this much control in the U.S. market. Or imagine if the U.S. market dips. Let's just say that the NASDAQ. Let's say the NASDAQ dips from 5,000 to 3,000. Imagine how much people would panic in a very short period of time. People would be jumping out the windows. Going from 5,000 to 3,000 within just a couple of days. It's unheard of. And that really tells you how illiquid this market is and how really small this market is. It is tiny market. So don't think $150 billion is a lot of money for a whole market. It's not. It's very tiny. It's a fraction. There are some very less known companies out there that have the market cap of cryptocurrency. And I'm not even talking about the big companies that are out there, in the sense of Amazon, Apple, Google, Netflix. $61.8, the 2650, 61.8. I got to go back because I kind of forget. And it all really depends, where you're taking that Fibonacci retracement to. 38.2. I don't think this is correct. Okay, there we go. So right around 3,000. Depending on how far you brought down your 100%. I mean, if you're just looking at the 1 day candle, so let's just go ahead and do the 1 day, and we'll go to, what are we looking at? Bitfinex. Okay, good. So I mean, even if we take this from, let's just say the beginning of 2017, that low of 2017. And that's depending where you're taking that low to. I mean, you could take it from there, and of course the retracements are going to be a little higher. They'll be a little different. But if we take it really just to the beginning of 2017, which 9 months ago, no, not a very long time, but it is a long time in the cryptocurrency market. 61.8 comes right out to 2,300. 2,300, 2,400, something to that extent, 2,329. So yeah, it's a huge drop. It really is. How do I see IOTA's potential? Dude, every cryptocurrency is dropping. You know, in the long run, as things stabilize, what is IOTA at? I don't think it breached that 36 all-time low that it has set, because a lot of these cryptocurrencies have set that all-time low. Well, not all-time low, but the low that they basically, they're revisiting that low from September 4th, September 5th. But yeah, 47 cents. So, I mean, it's not too bad. It hasn't dipped below that 36. I mean, Zcash down to 175, Neo 1688. So I still do have Neo, and I only purchased about 12.4. It wasn't much that I purchased. So I'm not really too worried about it. $20 purchase on that. But it had a nice run. You know, it ran from 20 to 25, and then, of course, it came down with everything else. BTC would be, BCH would be great if this thing would get to 300. I would support it again at the $200 level where I bought her in the past. I mean, these are setting all lows. They really are. ETC, wow, 1150. Let's see, newsflash, China follows the road of regulation. Trump capitalizes too. Oh, Rocky Mountain. SC, welcome. Yeah, everything is beat to shit. It really is. Tom Vegas thinks BTC will go ultimately to 3,000. Yeah, yes, it definitely can. It definitely can. I mean, it's not that far away from 3,000. What was the low on Bitfinex? Like 34 and change, 34.13. A $400 drop, you know, for BTC, that's nothing. That is nothing.
I have this.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain. I figure you were joking. Hopefully nobody panicked because of that. But, you know, I mean, hopefully other countries don't follow suit. You know, that's the biggest thing. And that's the problem now, is that just China has so much influence. Now, I can see if it was a bunch of countries making the same type of statements as China is, then yeah, that could cause, you know, this much to be really taken off the top. You know, billions of dollars have been erased from this market. But yeah, it's one country, you know, dictating, you know, what this cryptocurrency market should be doing. And that's not healthy. That is not healthy at all. Let's see, Andreas, what you're trying to say. But if you think about it, the 2008, you know, financial crisis, institutions paid around 300 billion in penalties and stuff, and this market is under 200 billion. Yeah, but think also, if you really think about it, a lot of these banks were bailed out. A lot of these financial institutions were bailed out. General Motors was bailed out. You know, it should not have been called General Motors after the bailout. It should have been called, you know, Citizens Motor or U.S. Motor. You know, because really it was U.S. taxpayers' money that bailed them out, and we got nothing out of it. The government got huge profit out of it, huge, because they were buying it and supporting them, you know, at the bare bottom. And they supported tons of financial institutions and made billions upon billions of dollars. But yeah, I mean, they were bailed out. So, you know, cryptocurrency market is not going to get bailed out. That's not going to happen. There's no bailout unless it's, you know, we the people looking to support it. It really is, Andreas. It really is in its infancy. I mean, there's a lot of good things that are going to come out of this, but just China can't control this whole market. And that's what they're doing. They're controlling this market. I mean, for cryptocurrency to be healthy and to have a sustained growth, long-term sustained growth, China can't dictate, how this market should be behaving. And like I said, it's not healthy for one country to control everything in the sense of cryptocurrency. Buy Neo at 5. Put it in, dude. Put that order in the book. Yeah, you never know. I mean, when you're sleeping, flash crash, major crash, it could happen. It can definitely happen. And if you guys see something moving, let me know, and I'll take a look at it. But I'm paying attention to OMG to see if she's going to dip below that 8, as well as LTC. I really got to keep an eye out on LTC to see if we get it pushed up to 55, because then it's executed, and then I can possibly use the funds maybe to purchase, a little over 1 BTC. SC, good comment. Good comment. Yeah, it really shows the jitteriness of knobs, new traders coming onto this market. And, you got to remember, too, a lot of new traders came onto this market when, BTC was like 46, 47, getting ready to hit, $5 grand. I remember talking to a couple of my buddies. I don't know if you guys are on this. When we're having a couple of beers, I was like, just set up the account and wait for a correction to happen. And that wasn't that long ago that I had that conversation with them. I was like, wait for a correction to happen. And I texted them yesterday. I said, if you already set up your account and you funded your account, put that order in the book. 3,000, 3,100. Put it in the book, and it'll hit it, and you'll be a proud owner of BTC. Now, if it dips, it dips. There's really nothing you can do with it. But there's a possibility that that could be the bottom. Decentralized exchanges, yes, that is the solution. That really is the solution. And, that'll happen. It will happen. Yeah, I can care less, Osiris, that if China bans crypto. I can care less, to be honest with you. Then that just means, they're out of the picture. We don't have to hear bad news coming out of China and the market reacting in a bad way. Yeah, we need to take China out of the picture. If they don't want to be involved in this, revolutionary change, then yeah, they don't need to be a part of it, and this market would be a lot healthier without it. Yeah, you name it. They were all bailed out. They were all bailed out with our money, Rocky. And that's a crazy thing. It was our money, and did the government give us a little cut of the profit that they took with taxpayers' money? That's supposed to be used to run the government and to provide the infrastructure for us. But it was used to bail out these, greedy, banks that completely manipulated the market of this flash crash. And they made out billions. And they still repoed people's houses or repossessed their houses. Yeah, it should have been the people voting, whether to bail them out or not. But that's a whole different conversation. Yeah, I agree, man. Time to kick China out, So I hope they do, to be honest with you. I hope that China has no involvement anymore in the cryptocurrency market whatsoever. Look at the hourly on which cryptocurrency? I'm assuming BTC. As long as this chart loads up. Rocky Mountain, thank you for that comment. And I do apologize. Yesterday, I usually try to stick to that schedule: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But there was just no way for me to do the live stream. And then I wrote a message on our Slack saying, hey, it's going to be a late live stream, and I just couldn't get to it. So there was no way for me to be able to miss this live stream. I think this is probably more important, than for me to actually go to my physical therapy, to be honest with you. I can miss that for weeks. But this is kind of like once in a lifetime. Well, I don't know if it's once in a lifetime drop, but it seems like, every time it has this crazy dip, and we've seen these crazy dips in the past, the market comes back with a vengeance. You can throw a right hook at it and it'll stun BTC real quick for a second, and then it comes right back up. So That's why I think there's just, too much FUD that's being spread. In the past, let's think about it for a second here. In the past, when there was a FUD that was being spread, it was really only one FUD, and that caused a nice correction in the market, gave some people great opportunities to either average down or buy in at a very low price, and the market would come right back up with a vengeance. Now it seems like it's back-to-back FUD that's being spread. So somebody wants this really to dip. Somebody really wants it to dip. They're either short. That's the only explanation I can think of. They're heavily short at this market. They want to make money on the way down, and then they're going to be buying back up at the bottom to take advantage of the capital that they would make on the way back up. So somebody really wants this thing to tank so that they can capitalize on the way down. But 1 hour chart, I think, Vince, you were talking about, or is it the daily you asked me to look at? Hourly. And I'm assuming it was BTC. Any thoughts on QTUM? No thoughts at all. Not currently right now. I haven't really been paying attention to it, considering major cryptos are taking a dive, and I'm sure QTUM, I haven't looked at it, but I'm sure that's taking a dive as well too. But yeah, you got to remember too. It's even though QTUM is not Chinese based, all cryptocurrencies, even if they're Chinese based or not, are taking a hit. All right, BTC on the 1 hour. I don't know what you saw, Vince, but let me see. Wait for this thing to kind of load. Rocky Mountain, have a great day, bud. Thank you for joining. Jameson, welcome, buddy. Welcome. China will accumulate as much BTC as they can and then put out the good news. Ain't that the truth, man? Ain't that the truth? Yeah, SC, you're basically saying that, you think we should sign off and come back next week. I completely agree to that in the sense that if you don't have any USD and you're just in crypto, that might be the best option. Honestly, I can't tell you what to do, but that's what I would do. I would not be looking at this cryptocurrency, on my phone, sitting at my computer. I would kind of go out and just enjoy the day. Because like I said, this drop will cause people to panic. If you don't have those strong hands, where's Daniel? He's not on here. If you don't have those strong hands, and I'm not saying that you should have strong hands because, if you need to sell because you need the capital, then you need to sell. You got to do what's best for you. But yeah, if I was just in all crypto and I had no USD available, I would be going out and enjoying a beer. SC, yeah, institutions, financial institutions are terrified of crypto. They are terrified. You have, Omisa Go wanting to unbank the bank. So normally, banks are looking to bank the unbanked. That's what they were looking to do. But you got a whole disruptor coming on and saying, we want to unbank the banked. And that's going to cause a lot of fear in a lot of these banks. So I hope Omisa Go, does that. And if they can penetrate the US market, I think they can succeed. I really think they can succeed. And we do need to unbank the banked, to be honest with you. Yeah, Jamie Dimon has no reason to be making a statement about Bitcoin. He should be worrying about what he needs to do to prevent the financial market from collapsing and stop, from repossessing people's homes. What's a good entry for F? I haven't looked at, let me see, what is F? I would say, under $200. Under $200 wouldn't be too bad. It touched 231. And I don't even know if I would add a lot. If I had more capital, I don't know if I would add a lot at 200. Maybe just add a little bit to see what she does. But that 130, it did touch 130 on GDAX. So I had this drawn out a while ago, 28.85, which was the peak here. Prior resistance becomes current support, possibly. And it's broken through this high here, and that high was right around 34.62. And it did get to that 34.13 is what it got to before bouncing. So it has been playing. Well, currently right now. Let's see if I can draw out my horizontal line. It's playing that peak there. So it found the resistance at that peak currently right now, but I mean, this thing could turn. I mean, it could be a dead cat bounce, and we've seen these little dead cat bounces, expecting it to really get up. And really, I wouldn't trust any of these cryptocurrencies, for in the sense of having a positive momentum to the upside until really they cross the 50-day moving average. If it crosses the 50-day moving average, then we know it's kind of bullish. But a lot of times what we're going to see is get to the 50-day moving average and break down, get to the 50-day moving average and possibly break down, and keep doing that and breaking down further until she finds that really solid support. So really, there's no indication at all when is a good time to get in, unless you have insider info and when the whales are getting in, where they have their orders in the book, or if they're hiding their orders. But yeah, really, until we get a nice confirmation of a moving average cross, and that moving average cross would be the 50. So our 17 would cross over the 50, or whatever the second smallest moving average you have crossing the 50, will be some sort of an indication that, okay, this market is stabilizing, is trending to the upside. And if it crosses the 100, then we know that's more of a positive sign. But until then, really, depending on what time, you really got to look at this on a larger time frame. So this is the 1 hour time frame that we're looking at. And in order for this to really get up to the 200-day, or I'm sorry, the 50-day moving average, she's got to get to 39.55, 39.50ish, something to that extent. Brandon H, a lot of good buying opportunity. I think, Brandon, you're from Philly. I think from what I remember from previous live streams. Hope all's well, if you are the one from Philly. Andrea says, yeah, let's see. For me, you're setting your buy orders with fiat that you have left, and you're out. Yeah, I have, I don't know, like $1,800 left that I could utilize, unless I get out of LTC. So we'll see. I mean, she's getting possibly close to that 55, 52, 56. Entry was 50, and I'm definitely going to let it execute. I'm not gonna hold it, because that would mean that on the 15-minute candlestick, and let me share that chart with you guys, because I'm looking at a different chart or a different screen. And really, unless you're looking to get out, I wouldn't even look at the smaller time frames at all. So on the 30 minutes, that's going to put it right below our what is that, the 17? Let me make sure I have these set the right way, because I kind of forget. I do change up these moving averages a good amount of time. 21 is what I have that set to. 10, 21, 50, 100, and 200. So I would want to see this thing, get close to that $55, and it'll still be under our 50-day moving average. I'm sorry, our 21-day moving average. And as we can see, really, it's having a hard time breaking above that moving average of 21 days. And that just kind of tells us that, there's more of a downtrend to come. She needs to hover above that 21 and possibly get to that 50-day moving average in order for this to have some sort of a healthy, tracement to the upside. But, I mean, if we're really looking at this on a 30-minute candlestick, I mean, our price has been way below the 21-day moving average, which is in that blue line. The 7-day, I mean, it'll crisscross the 21 numerous times, but until really that 21 crosses the 50, I wouldn't stay in this long. Take advantage of these nice, push that it has. And especially if you have a very sizable position, I mean, you can lock in a very good amount of USD in profit. You're looking hard at Binance. I have not looked at Binance at all. I have not. And a lot of people have been talking about it. I guess it all depends where they're located out of. If they're located out of China or registered in China, then that might not be a good thing. Mr. Black, if you don't have fiat available, don't panic. For me, it's just a great opportunity to learn from it and be prepared for the next huge dip. Yeah, this is the time to maybe, nibble at it. Just nibble at it and not take a very large, sizable position and put money in this. And don't take out a payday loan. Don't borrow any money thinking that this market has bottomed out for you to borrow money from somebody else that you have to return in several days or a week, whatever it might be. Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, Brandon H. Yeah, I thought you were from Philly. I remember that a while back. All right, so let's go ahead. LTC is 52.67. What is it on the 15 minutes with our moving average? Yeah, so far, I mean, this is sustaining a nice move on the 15 minutes. It's above that 7-day moving average. I'm sorry, the 10-day moving average. It's getting close to, and this is on the 15-minute chart, so just keep that in mind. It's getting close to that 53, 58, 53, 50-ish, and that would be right at the 21-day moving average. If she can get above that, 55 is definitely in sight. And yeah, I'd be out of LTC. Binance restricted Chinese IP addresses. Interesting. Interesting. LTC, super long, Oni, super long. Yeah, and I from what I think I remember, you were in LTC a long time ago. Long time ago. So yeah, if you're in a profit, yeah, you should not be panicking at all. If you bought this a while back and you're just really losing unrealized profit, unrealized gains, and as long as you don't sell, it's just all unrealized. You haven't realized those losses until you actually sell. Let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see, Bittrex. Let's see what is moving actually. Is there even anything that's up? Are people, going from BTC into other alts? Lomo coin up 94%. You gotta be kidding me. Lomo coin almost 100%. XST, I have no clue what XST is, but I'm surprised that there are cryptos that are up. But I guess, if people are in a situation where, I don't know why they wouldn't want to go into USD, but if they're picking an alt to go into, that's the only reason why some of these are up. They could have been beat down in the past and they've realized, you know what, I have nothing to lose on this because it's been beat down. I might as well put my money here. More than likely it'll stay beat down. But if it decides to go up, because a lot of traders are piling money into a cryptocurrency that has been beat down and they don't want to stay in BTC, yeah, that's why these are up, 94%, 73%. Even ARK is up. Wow. And I think, yeah, the other day, it was dope, THC, and cannabis were the ones that were up. So yesterday's winners are today's losers. And today's losers could be tomorrow's winners. Who knows? Bitcoin Dark. Yeah, it's been doing well for a couple of days. And I've talked about Bitcoin Dark in the past. Bitcoin Dark and Komodo. But yeah, it's been doing pretty well. Yeah, Oni, that 60 looked good for me for a couple of days. It really did. Until Charlie Lee's tweet, and then I was like, there's no sense in me hitting this at 60 because I could have had a nice little flash crash to 60. But yeah, I'm glad I canceled that order and just kind of put it in at $50. Yeah, there's probably no sense to even try to figure out exactly how much you're down. Yeah, there's no sense. It's really only going to frustrate. It's only going to frustrate you. You know, if you're looking at something and you're like, man, I just lost, you know, or not lost because you didn't really sell yet if you haven't sold, but yet to be down, you know, $10,000 or whatever it might be, it's a lot. But yeah, I wouldn't try to figure out the math exactly, to be honest with you. Yeah, don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Theo HX question: if we can all agree that BTC is the flagship and it will be dominated by cryptos in the future because of use case scalability, what is the value of LTC and other coins based on Bitcoin? That's a good question, man. And yeah, I guess, you know, we really got to think deep and really dig in deep about it. It is supposed to be the silver to Bitcoin's, you know, gold. Really the value of it, you know, and I'm still going to stick with that $100. And if it does hit 100, it can break out of it with a vengeance and probably get to 150, 175, 200. I think is probably the max. To be honest with you, I don't think, you know, I can't see LTC getting above 200. Crash after the high on the ganja coins. Yeah, yesterday's loser or yesterday's winners are today's losers. And people are going to lock in those profits. And hopefully, you know, people are locking in profits on those coins that have gone up and moving into something that's a little more, you know, long-term sustained growth in the sense of BTC. You know, even though it is dropping, it's still going to have a long-term sustained growth. Yeah, you're good, Oni. You're good, man. Purchasing LTC in $10 and $13 ranges. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, probably next week, you know, we'll look at this and be like, ugh, like, did something happen the other day? So really the low that it had set in the sense of the market cap, and that was not long ago, was, I mean, June 15th or June 16th. That was a low of 64, just about. I can't really get the cursor to be exactly on that bottom, but possibly 63. There it is right there. 63.7 was the low that it had set. So can we revisit that low? Anything is a possibility in this market. But she's got to break that 114 first. She's got to break through it. You know, that is the first area of support in the sense of total market cap. But yeah, you know, if she falls below 100, it could get, you know, to the other support levels. You know, so let's just say hypothetically she breaks through that 114 and breaks through 100, 95 billion, 90 billion would be the next area of support for it. And after that, she could start retesting 66, 64, which is really a low that should be hitting. Stefan, let's see. BTC reversal looked like it was happening earlier. Dead cat bounce. Remember those. Remember dead cat bounces on a free falling market. So don't think that could be the correction. But it can't go much lower. I don't know about that, dude. It can definitely go much lower. So never say that it can't go much lower, because it can. You know, no one knows how low it's going to go. And you're getting ready to go long on BTC, possibly with margin. Nah, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, you got to do what's right for you. You got to make the decisions for yourself. So, you know, if I had the same thought process as you, Stefan, you might be right about the, you know, possibly this being the bottom. You could be right about that, or you could be wrong. And if you do take an entry, that's perfectly fine, because that's kind of what you're thinking the bottom is. But to go into it with margin, you're asking for trouble. You really are asking for trouble when this market is just really uncertain, and there's just a lot of jitteriness that comes out. I mean, all we need is confirmation, you know, from maybe one other exchange saying we're going to be closing up September 30th as well too. Yeah, and that's going to cause a further drop, and they will liquidate that account, buddy. So this is probably not the time to be playing with margin, especially on a long position. Ark, good morning, buddy. But yeah, be careful, guys. Be careful, with margin. And I mean, don't even go all in with your capital. Scale into it and see what it does. Let me go back to that on Bitfinex. So you're talking about the current one and the current candlestick, right? On the 1 hour. Nothing yet, Vegas. Nothing yet. I mean, we're not seeing, I would like to see, a doji or a hammer, at the bottom of these candlestick formations. And that would give me some sort of an indication, especially a doji, the doji is going to indicate that there is some sort of uncertainty going on. A hammer, will indicate to me that truly could be, and it's usually 90%, you see a hammer on a bottom of a downtrend after a nice correction, that does signal 90% of the time that, there's more upside to come. And same thing, if you see a hammer or a doji at the top of an upward move, then that tells you, there's possibly a crash and there's a lot of uncertainty that's happening. So, on this, the candlestick that closed, because we're still currently in this 1 hour candlestick, but that previous 1 hour candlestick, it doesn't tell me anything yet. Not even a spin and top or anything. Let me look at a couple of things. And just because it does not tell you on the 1 hour doesn't mean that it's not going to indicate that on a larger time frame or even on a smaller time frame, possibly. And I can't seem to get this chart to change the time frame. Yeah, I'm still stuck on the 1 hour. Stefan, not a problem, buddy. Not a problem. Okay, so the one that just closed, spin and top. I've seen these spin and tops, in the past on a nice uptrend, and it wasn't good on a nice uptrend. Yeah, let me refresh this. Because yeah, for some reason I'm still stuck on that 1 hour. Lambo coin on margin. Man. Yeah, I wouldn't even consider margin. I mean, you guys know what happened to me. That still kind of leaves a scar. It still leaves a scar. The time scale that I was looking at all different time scales, Dubai review, but I was trying to zoom out to a different time frame on BTC, and the chart just was not cooperating. No, it wouldn't be a doji. A doji, the closing price and the opening price would have to be, it would be a T, basically. So yeah, it can't have a body into it to be a doji. Yeah, we got to get out of this 1 hour chart, in order to determine if this is a spinning top. And like I said, spinning tops are normally on the high of an uptrend, and they should be very symmetrical. So here we go. So like this would be a spinning top. It's very symmetrical where the high was the low and where the actual full body candle was. And normally, when you see a spinning top at the top, it does break down. You're talking the smaller body candle on the 1 hour. So this one right here, that's probably the one you're talking about, Vince, right? The previous candle that closed. Yeah, if you look at this on a smaller time frame, yeah, you would see the spinning top. But on here, it's not 100% spinning top, considering the full body is not in the middle, between the high and the low of that wick. So I'm assuming you're talking about this one right here. Yeah, it's not a spinning top. It's not a doji, not a long-legged doji, not a dragonfly doji. But yeah, it really at this moment it doesn't indicate anything at all. It doesn't indicate. Now, if that was a hammer, I would have been like, what, this might be a good opportunity to kind of test it out just a little bit, to see if it'll really, kind of get up to that 17, maybe 50-day moving average. But yeah, it's not. So that's why you really got to look at all different time frames. You really can't look at just a 1 hour time frame and expect to make your decision based on that, because you could see a hammer on a very shorter time frame than you would on a longer time frame. Stefan, I hope people see this. I hope people see and they don't, be discouraged. And I hope people are looking at this and being like, whoa, this is a great buying opportunity. Like I looked at it not long ago, it was almost $5,000. So I hope this would be a buying opportunity for them. Yeah, so I would say that's closer to a spinning top. Now, I would have liked to see the body a little more bigger, to be a well-defined spinning top. And basically, I mean, the spinning top is gonna usually, like I said, I've seen those on the top as it's making a move, and it kind of starts to peak. You see a spinning top, you get out because there is indecision, that's happening, and things are basically becoming very neutral between buyers and sellers, and you do end up seeing a downtrend. So, one thing I would like to really pay attention to on this is to see if we find, a long-legged doji. And we're really not seeing a long-legged doji. This would be kind of close to a long-legged doji, and this is on a 30-minute chart. But it does have, the wick. I'm sorry, not the wick. The body. It does have a body, and it can't really have a body to be a true long-legged doji. And long-legged dojis can form at the top of an uptrend. They can form on the bottom of a downtrend, and those are usually good indicators. If you see those, that there is going to be some sort of move either to the upside or downside, depending where you're seeing that long-legged doji. And like I said, I mean, they're very significant. If that is something you're looking for on that time frame, and like I said, you got to look at all different time frames, but they are very significant in the sense that they're pretty strong on an uptrend or downtrend. Let's look at a 15-minute candlestick and see if it forms a true long-legged doji. Yeah, there's definitely a lag. I don't know if you guys are having the same lag that I'm having, but there's definitely a lag on Bitfinex. Let me refresh that. Stefan, you were thinking about it though. I mean, with the global financial, possible crisis, central banking crisis, crazy situations that would do good things for the cryptocurrency market. Currently, it's not. That's really the moment I'm looking forward to, where the market decides to have a correction, and it needs a correction. And when I mean the market, the traditional financial market, it needs a correction. And if it corrects, hopefully people will start piling into cryptocurrency as they're exiting the door on the traditional financial market. That's a scam. The current 15-minute chart is a hammer. If I can get to it, for some apparent reason I can't seem to get to it. All right, so 15-minute candlestick. The current candlestick is really, I mean, the candlestick hasn't closed to determine if it's a hammer or not. This one, yes, it is, but it does have a bigger body. I would like to see a somewhat of a smaller body to be a true hammer. But here's that long-legged doji. There we go. So you're not able to spot these out on every single time frame, but on the 15-minute, we are able to spot that out. Now, it's not 100% that you will see an uptrend. And as long as I can get my chart to cooperate, we can kind of look at that long-legged doji. It's not 100%, guys. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But yeah, there's a long-legged doji right there on the 15-minute candlestick. So it's not on that 1 hour. It's not on the 30 minutes. It'll form a different type of formation. So what I would like to see with this current candlestick is I would like to see a hammer formation. I mean, we're seeing inverted hammer here. We're seeing a hammer here. I would like to see another hammer here. There's a doji here. So we'll see exactly this. If this thing can close green, but close as a hammer and not really have a wick at the top, that's a clear indication to me that, we're going to get short term. And I'm going to be very honest with you. This is short-term price action movement. This is not long-term sustained at all. You want to be looking for these things on a longer time frame if you're looking to have a possibility of it having a long-term sustained, move to the upside. But we're only looking at a very short time frame. So, these dojis that we're seeing, these hammers that we're seeing, is only going to represent the price action movement of a very short period of time. The current 15-minute chart is a hammer candle. Yes, a couple of them. Inverted hammer. We're seeing a hammer, spinning top, dragonfly doji, long-legged doji. Where's my LTC doing? LTC still stuck at 51.83. So we'll see. I mean, paying attention on this 15-minute candlestick, we'll see exactly our 7-day moving average is getting ready to really converse above our 17-day moving average, but there is a huge gap between the 17 and the 50, and that's a huge price difference that we're looking at. Almost 150 bucks. Yeah, I got to keep refreshing this thing because it's lagging. RSI, well, we're looking at the 15-minute chart, but on the 15, RSI did touch that 20. That completely oversold with a doji there. So we'll see. I mean, this thing needs a clear confirmation, a clear break above that 17-day moving average. And there has to be a clear separation between our 7 days and 17 days. And if that's the case, if we get that clear separation, then yeah, the 50-day moving average is in sight. The 100-day moving average is in sight, but that 100 moving day average is going to give it an issue. So that's why, I mean, today is just basically, if you're going to trade it, it's scalping. That's really all you can do. 1 minute to go for closing this candle. I forget on what time frame you're looking at, but the time frame that I have up, I got about 13 minutes left, unless I'm getting these messages late. Yeah, and one thing that I do see an issue with this move that we're having is it's not a good price action move on the 15-minute chart. It really is not. Yes, it's going up, and yes, it's sustaining, as in the sense that it wants to consolidate. But unless you're going to have a clear confirmation, a clear breakout above key moving averages, this is not good. This is not a good bounce. And I can see this thing, really coming down and testing that 3,400 again. Sell, Mortimer, sell. That's a great movie. Great movie. Maybe that's what I should do today. Just grab a beer and watch Changing Places. If you guys are having issues with Bitfinex, let me know. And hopefully it's just not my computer. I do have a lot of things that are loaded on my computer, and that could be bogging it down a little bit. And basically, what I want to see, and let me know if you guys see it, because I can only look at so many different time frames. So if you guys are looking at different time frames, maybe higher than the time frame that I'm looking at, and you see, I'll show you what the Dragonfly Doji looks like. It's basically just a T. That's really what a Dragonfly Doji is. And I don't think you guys can see it clearly on here because of the actual price, and the moving averages are basically right there. But this candlestick, the prior candlestick, not the current candlestick that we're on, is a Dragonfly Doji, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my, I don't want to get rid of it. But let me know if you guys can see that. I'm just going to go ahead and close out these moving averages. But you definitely, I mean, you want to find these, Dragonfly Dojis on a larger time frame than a shorter time frame. When you find them on a larger time frame, the probability of it being accurate is a lot better. So right over here where this previous green candle is, that's basically a T. So let me know if you're looking at the 30 minutes to 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it might be. Let me know if you see a Dragonfly Doji. And as long as we can find these Dragonfly Dojis on the larger time frame at support, that's pretty good. As long as we're not finding them at resistance. If you find them at a resistance point, then personally I would get out of that trade. But if you find them on a downtrend close to support, then yeah, it's a great indicator. So I mean, you are going to see. Now remember, these dojis, long-legged doji, Dragonfly Dojis, they are symboling indecision between buyers and sellers. You got to remember that. So it's like, it's not 100%. So you will probably see a lot of these dojis on every single cryptocurrency that you're looking at, on just probably every time frame in the 30, 15, 5, and 1 time frame. So if you are seeing those all over the place, yeah, that's because there's just a lot of indecision right now. And there is. I mean, we all know that, with this crazy China news that's coming out. So you really gotta be careful. You're not seeing these on a profit taken sustained drop, or you're not seeing these on a nice upward move. You're seeing these on possibly FUD that's being spread. Scott M, let's do it. Beer and movies beats work any day. Indeed it does, dude. Indeed. I haven't had a beer in a couple days, so I think it is time. So Bitfinex is running fine for you, okay? If I hit the little let me see what you say, Matthew. If you hit the little I icon next to the X for the chart attributes, it will just hide the chart element. This way you don't have to delete them and recreate them. Ah, good to know. Good to know. But yeah, let me know if you guys are looking at a different time frame. I'll go ahead and switch to the 30 minutes, see if I see it there. Not yet. So in the 15-minute range, every cryptocurrency is going to have some sort of doji. And remember, there's a lot of dojis. It's just not one type of doji only. But yeah, I mean, if we saw a long-legged doji or a Dragonfly doji here, on a larger time frame, the 1 hour, that would have been great. Or the 2 hours. I'm sorry, the 3 hours. All right, this thing's lagging very bad. But thank you to everybody that's joining. If you're a new-time viewer, welcome. Thank you for finding us. It's a pleasure to have you. And if you find this information helpful, don't forget to pound that like button and subscribe and click on that post notification so you're notified every time a video gets uploaded, or I do a spur of the moment type of live stream like today. It's not a day that I would normally do a live stream. Matthew, let's see what you're saying. Just for when I saw you delete your 1030 EMA. I deleted the 10 and 21. Yeah, I just wanted for you guys to see exactly what that long-legged or what that dragonfly doji looked like. But yeah, I'm going to be adding back the moving averages. As long as this thing cooperates with me. Oh, come on, Bitfinex. So this is one of the things that could be very frustrating is when the exchange doesn't work properly and there's just lagging, and you got to kind of expect that too. When the market is just dipping like crazy. We'll make this like that R7. Go ahead and make the lines bigger. R7 is always going to be, I like to put it in the green. It's completely up to you what you decide to pick. So one thing that I do like about this 15-minute chart, and it's just kind of a momentary, a very short outlook on this, to be honest with you, is just really how our 7-day moving average is starting to kind of curl, and it's not still on a downward spiral fall. And this is of course, that long-legged doji where that indecision did happen. And like I said, a lot of times it's not 100%, but that's usually where you can kind of see a nice turnaround. But considering we're looking at a very short time frame, it's only going to be a very short sustained type of move to the upside. But the only way to get the confirmation of it, really keeping that sustained move, is the moving averages. So it's always good to kind of keep an eye out on these dojis at the bottom of a free falling chart. But our smaller moving average, our 7 days, still has not crossed over that 21 days. It has not at all. And it needs to cross over it. Even though the price is above the 7-day moving average, it still needs to cross over that 21 days. So 31.95, 3,200 could be the level really where she could come down to, and just have maybe a nice little bounce up, as long as kind of the selling subsides and sellers stop selling or panic selling, and people just kind of shut down their monitor and go out for a beer. Unless they do that, then that 38 or 3,200 could be cracked. But I mean, for it to really go down to that 100-day moving average, that's huge. That is huge. But there is a wide gap between that 100 and 200. So for it to get to 200, I mean, there would have to be major crazy news that's coming out, and other countries really banning cryptocurrency. That's the only way I see it getting getting down to that 61.8 Fibonacci retracement, which would put it right around 2,330 bucks, something to that extent. But really that 32 bucks, 3,200 is kind of where I have my eyes on. I want to make sure the audio is still okay. Good. I think we're still good. Price is still holding up. It's holding up above that Dragonfly Doji. Or just, I'm sorry, the long-legged Doji, not Dragonfly. Dragonfly is the one with a T, which would be right here. But, you know, they're only effective, too, you got to remember, and it's not 100%, but they're only effective if you're seeing them on a top of an uptrend or on the bottom of a downtrend. But I got a couple more minutes left on this. Let me know if you guys have any questions, but I do appreciate everybody that has joined. You know, let me see, Andres, you're saying even just beer or just movies beats work any day. You know, one thing is I don't consider, you know, what I'm doing, well, aside from the live stream, that is considered work. But if I'm just sitting there, you know, analyzing stuff and looking to get a trade in, I really don't consider that work at all. If, you know, if you love something so much and you have a passion for it, yeah, it's really not work. So let's say hypothetically, you know, and we're going to take a look at just maybe a couple of these to see exactly, you know, what the resistance or what the support, I'm sorry, what the resistance is going to be if we do have a short-lived, you know, move to the upside. OMG, let's just say hypothetically, if this is the bottom, really resistance is at that $11. And prior in the past, you know, I've said that $11 was very crucial. It was very crucial in the sense of support. Prior resistance becomes current support, and she did maintain, dipped below that 11 just momentarily a little bit, but came right back up. So that 11 was very important to it to maintain a nice upward trend, to maintain that healthy level. But of course, you know, with crazy shit that's coming out, it dipped below it. It completely crashed below it. So that prior resistance, I'm sorry, that prior support is now the current resistance. And she has shown us that that is a resistance. So when she came down to $9.50, attempted to completely have a nice uptrend to the upside. And as we can see, even though our moving averages are a little lagging, you know, our smaller moving average did converse above our 21-day moving average. So our 7-day moving average did make it above that 21-day moving average. But that $11 that was a prior support is the current resistance. So if she has a nice push up to the upside, because now buyers are actually stepping into this market and actually buying this possible bottom, $11 is the resistance. You know, so she's going to have a hard time breaking out with a vengeance above that $11. Yeah, she could break it just by a little bit like she did here. 11.14, which she got to, but she didn't sustain that move. You know, the next candlestick after that wasn't a sustained move. It completely broke down below it. And if we really look at this, our 200-day moving average is right around $11.20. So if you do get in this at this price, or you get in this at $8, whatever, you know, expect that $11 to be a crucial level of resistance. You know, don't expect it to have a complete breakout above it. Now, if it does, that's great, but it's got to have a confirmed breakout above that 200-day moving average. And more than likely, I'm going to say, you know, 90% it will get rejected. It will get rejected from that 11 bucks, you know, or 11.14 or 11.15, 11.20. It will get rejected. It's not going to have a sustained move to break out above that 11.87, and 11.87 would be the second area of resistance if it does break above 11. But honestly, I don't see this thing breaking above 11, considering our 200-day moving average is right around hovering above that $11 range. So I would be very careful with this, not to expect too much out of it. You know, in this type of market, you got to lock in those profits. And going from, you know, let's just say hypothetically, you get in at 8.75 or you get in at 9, that's a $2 profit there. If you take the opportunity to get in this trade now, I'm not saying it's going to get to 11 right now. It could dip further. It could dip to, you know, $6. It could dip to $5. But if it does decide to come back up, that 11 is going to play a very crucial level. And if I had OMG, I would be looking to sell everything. Just like previously, that 1350 was a resistance. I sold everything at that 1350. I locked in a little bit. I think I sold like 19 under 20. I sold that at $12.50. It completely broke down. When it came back up, I was like, all right, that 1350 is a crucial level. That's where I'm selling. And that's going to be the same exact thing with this currently right now, unless we get some positive news out of China that they are not going to ban cryptocurrencies. But 11 is crucial, very crucial on OMG. Let's go ahead and take a look at BTC and look at the crucial level on that one. What do I think of NIM? I mean, everything's down. So, I mean, I don't know in the sense of fundamental or technical. Hopefully in the sense of technical. Well, Scott, you know, you actually got a job, man. You got somebody to report to. You know, I have nobody to report to. So yeah, so for you, work is work, man. And it's not fun. Even though I know you enjoy what you do and you love what you do, and you're very good at what you do. But yeah, you know, if I was in your situation, yeah, it'd be work. That's somebody high up to report to. Where me doing what I do now, I don't have to report to anybody, and I love doing this. It's a passion. You know, I don't do this to say, oh, I'm going to make tons of money. If that was the case, I would be stressed out every single day because I wasn't making, you know, the money that I was expecting to make. But if you do it as a passion, I mean, the money will come. It'll be there later. But just do it because you're passionate to do this. All right. So in the sense of BTC, having a if, and that's a big if, decides to correct to a nice level from here, don't expect us to get up above 4,000. Do not. It's not going to get above 4,000. It's shown us that, you know, in a very short period, in a short price action movement. Now, you guys got to remember too, I'm not talking about long-term holds on these whatsoever. So, you know, do not think, oh, you know, Jonas says the resistance is 39.50. I got to sell 39.50. No, I mean, if your outlook was to hold this for long term, then hold it for long term. If your outlook was to trade this and scalp it, then know where the key levels are, where it has a possibility of retracing. And that possibility of retracing, if my cursor works, I'm trying to get the exact price, but remember, it's not always going to be 100%. So right around 39.50, 3,950 is going to be an area that she's going to have a hard time. She's going to retrace. You know, if she doesn't retrace after hitting the 50-day moving average, that 39.50 is going to be an area of retracement. You know, they're all going to have that because really what we're seeing is on a lot of these things is if it does have a dead cat bounce, it's going to have a dead cat bounce to an area where she had a hard time breaking out above. And it's showing us clearly that this thing is having a hard time breaking out. Yes, had a nice dead cat bounce from, you know, $3,731 all the way to $3,945. You know, I mean, that's, you know, not a bad little, you know, profit there. But you know, if you get in down here at 3,400 and it's making a nice move up to the upside, I would personally, in my opinion, what I would do is I would be looking to lock in some of the profit, especially if I wasn't planning on holding this long term at that 39.50. And if it breaks out, I still have a little bit more that I could possibly sell, you know, if she gets to the 200-day moving average. And if she doesn't, she breaks down like she has because all they are is just a dead cat bounce, then at least, you know, you locked in the profit and then you could probably buy back in a little bit more. All right, let me get to some of the comments, and then actually let's take a look at LTC real quick, and then that'll be the last cryptocurrency that I take a look at, and then I'll try to get to some of the comments before I actually have to end this live stream. All right, come on, chart. Cooperate with me today. Oh, Andreas, good thing you didn't pursue the Wall Street life. You know, doing that for a year would knock like 10 years out of your body. Yeah, it's a high stress. Wall Street is a high stress job. Lafabison. Oh man, hope all's well, buddy. Indeed, it has been a very, very, very long time. You were one of the first persons I conversed with back in January when I was uploading videos. But yeah, man, thank you for joining. You're awesome. You bought OMG a few days ago. I did too. Yeah, I was lucky enough. I bought it at 9 and it dipped to 733. I still held on. And then, yeah, I started taking profits. And I was lucky enough to kind of sell at that 1350 when they put out a news indicating that they were going to be listed on Poloniex. And it was a short-lived $2 push up to the upside, and it came right back down. So, yeah, ever since then, I haven't really looked at it, but I am looking to get in. If it gets to a range that I'm looking at, 750, that's kind of where I have my order. But yeah, Lafabison, thank you for joining, man. It's awesome. Great to see you. Scott M, eventually, let's see, eventually you'll just open up the bank account and come join you at headquarter. Not me at headquarter. Are you going to join me in my basement? That's my headquarter, unless that message was in regards to somebody else. Yeah, come down, dude. I got a bar, so we'll chill at the bar. And maybe I can put you to work since you're my tech guy. Oh, dude, I remember a lot of things, Lafabison. I do. And you were my first donation, my first ever donation that I ever received. And you definitely made my weekend that around that time. Yeah, as long as it's a hobby, don't think about it as a job. Because really, I mean, if you think about it as a job, you end up hating it. I don't know anybody that really loves their jobs. They might like their job, they might be willing to tolerate their job, but yeah, don't think about this as a hobby. I mean, as a job. Think about it as a hobby. It's as a passion, something you love to do, and then yeah, it won't stress you out. Yeah, OMG has a lot of potential, And I said it earlier, I mean, if they can, if they can penetrate the U.S. market, and if they can unbank the bank, and if they can integrate it into Apple Pay, oh man, OMG will do wonders. It definitely can. Maybe Scott, since you're an Apple guru, maybe that's something you can look into. See if OMG Omisa Go is going to be incorporated into Apple Pay. I think you and the higher up people at Apple are pretty tight. No, yeah, exactly. You're not too late on OMG, not at all. I think end of the year target. Really, I mean, I don't see why this thing doesn't hit $25. Of course, right now, with all this crazy stuff that's going on, yeah, everything's going to be down. But yeah, there's really no reason that this thing should not hit $25. I'm sorry, $50 by end of year. And I know, currently it's $11 or something to that extent. Oh, and I'm sorry, $8.75, and that $50 could seem a long, long ways out. But as long as the market stabilizes, it has to stabilize. And they're really not heavily involved in China, even though majority of the population, they could definitely benefit, from OMG. And that would do wonders for OMG, but we got to really take China out of the equation. Scott, bring the beer. Bring the beer. I definitely have the knowledge. I don't know if you set up your account yet. We've talked about that in the past. I don't know if you've set up that account. So, I mean, really by the looks of, my other charts that I'm looking at, this is still not a sustained, healthy uptick, healthy move to the upside. These are really nothing but scalping opportunities, and bots are probably, going crazy right now. So if anybody's running a bot, your bot is probably just going berserk, you know, because it's probably executing trades left and right, you know, however, whatever strategy you set it for, and whatever, you know, if it dips 10%, then it buys, and it goes up 5%, then it sells. It's probably working hard and going crazy. But yeah, this is probably, you know, all these little upticks is probably, you know, being not manipulated, but, you know, being moved by bots. Let's see, Lafabison. I'm sure it's going to move big time long term. Indeed, it will. But you kind of want to get in at the bottom, of course. Buy low, sell high, and then ride the new wave. But you're afraid we may have a top here. I don't think we have a top here. I mean, that top was really 13.50. And that's really, you know, anything above 12.50, $13, 13.50 was really the chance to kind of get out of OMG if you were looking to lock in some of the profits. But no, this is definitely not the top. I mean, this is breaking all key levels of support, and every cryptocurrency today, you know, over the past couple of days has been breaking key levels of support. So really, I mean, you got to consider that it is breaking these key levels of support, and it's going to provide that great opportunity to buy in. Let's look at the chart once again before I actually end this live stream. You know, the 750 right now to me is piquing my interest. But as time goes on, and as this market is still downtrending and not really having an uptrend, or not really having a long sustained type of consolidation, then there's a possibility that I'm going to change that 750 to something lower. You know, if it doesn't give me a clear indication of this market being stable, is stabilizing at this current price point, and we are having that long extended type of consolidation. Yeah, it could easily. I mean, OMG could easily fall to $5, and I'm not saying that to, you know, scare anybody out of their position, but, you know, you just really got to think outside the box. This market is not consolidated yet. It's not stable yet, and until that uncertainty, you know, kind of ends, you know, she could test out new lows. So I'm going to see what the other new low was, but you know, that 750 should be a good resistance. I'm sorry, good support. It should be a good support. Man, it feels like I'm on dial-up. I mean, this thing is just so slow, extremely slow. I got to close out some of these other windows that I have. I don't need Bittrex. So we'll see if BTC holds 50. If she holds 50 and consolidates, then that's somewhat stable. Somewhat short-term stability. That's kind of the way I look at it. Short-term stability. This is not a long-term stability. If they do decide to stabilize, but I'm still looking for that 55 to execute my trade, or to sell the LTC that I do have. Andres, thank you for joining, bud. List, you know, I'm probably not going to look at lists today, SB. I do apologize. Tomorrow I will be doing a live stream, because Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are the days that the live stream is scheduled. So if you do happen to hop on, ask me to take a look at it, and I will gladly take a look at it. But I'm kind of waiting for OMG chart to fully load so I can look at to see what the other area of support is going to be if it does decide to break down below the 750, 733. 733 was the low that it had set before really having a nice push to the upside and cracking $13.50. OMG 10X from here. I'll put it at $87. That's a lot within a very short period of time. Extended, yes, as long as this market is healthy, as long as we can, you know, like I said, you know, take China out of, you know, completely manipulating this market and getting it to do what they want it to do. And I don't know why this chart is not loading. But you're over long term, and you really got to think about it long term, especially with OMG. All right, I'm having issues here with this chart. All right, let's get out of this just so I can really look at this quickly, because I do have to get off this live stream. Where's OMG? OMG. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start using my old faithful, crypto watch that I really started using heavily back in January, and then I just kind of veered away from it. But yeah, it's a lot more stable. It's a lot more real time than I'm getting from some of these exchanges. $56K modem is so 1997. Oh, dude, indeed. Man, I was having so many issues, and you guys were with me, a long time ago. Some of you guys, when I first started live streaming on my MacBook Pro, I was like, 10 years old, and it just wasn't built for what I needed to do. And yeah, a lot of issues with the live stream. Too many to count. All right, so maybe 2-hour time frame on this. Kind of take a look at it. OMG could be the real deal. It definitely could. But just remember, I mean, with any cryptocurrency, even though it's a real deal, it's going to have volatility. It's going to have up and down swings. It definitely will. So really looking at this thing, I mean, I'm looking for that entry of 750. That's kind of what I'm looking for to see if she does get to that level. And that's right around, a little under where I have the support line kind of drawn out. But if she does, break through that level, then really the next level that we're looking at, and it's not going to be 100%, is going to really be that $6.25, $6.20. That's going to be really the level that she could, that's always a magic word, that she could come down to. So now if we look at a very larger time frame on this, let's see if I can do a 6 hours. Yeah, that's going to be too much of a retracement. So I can't go down to that. So we'll look at the $1.60-ish retracement. So we'll do a $1.60 retracement on the Fibonacci. So that 6108 Fibonacci retracement that a lot of traders, and it's not 100%, but a lot of traders do like to look at that. They like to look at the 3820. They also like to take a look at the 61.8 on the retracement. And they also do look at the 32.8 as well as the 61.8 on the extension. Now you got to remember too, I mean, there's all different types of Fibonacci's. And as long as you can use the extension and the retracement, then you're pretty good. You don't really need to look at any other type of, Fibonacci retracements. I don't really look at it heavily. I plot out my own, support and resistance. And if we really look at, the 750 sits right at 50% retracement. The 620, 625 is currently sitting at right at the 61.8 retracement. So, traders do like to play that 61.8 retracement, but I said, that's usually on just a normal profit taken. Profit taken is happening, and it does happen, but this is panic selling. This is FUD that's being spread, so it could easily crack through that 61.08. But on a healthy market, that's really what traders kind of look for, and they kind of wait for. I wait. I'm a patient trader, so I wait for that 61.8 retracement to happen, and I think it can happen, especially with this type of market that we're in now. It could either get to that 61.8 and consolidate, or get to that 61.8 retracement and completely break through it and get to the retracement of 78.6% from the high that it had basically set. So that's something to definitely keep an eye on. But remember, Fibonacci retracements can be easily manipulated by whales, and they do use that to their advantage because they know that traders normally eye up the 31.8, the 50%, as well as the 61.8. And I'm sure a lot of us have been faked out by using Fibonacci retracement. So be very careful with that. Like I said, technical indicators might kind of go out the window until this market somewhat stabilizes and gets, this bad news that's just continuously coming out subsides. What time am I doing a stream tomorrow? 10. Usually I like to, and click on that post notification, Mr. Black, because that's really the only way you're going to be notified if I do, a 10:30, stream, or a 10:15 stream, or a 10 a.m. stream. And I usually try to schedule them a half an hour before the actual stream happens. Am I planning to sell my LTC at a loss? No, definitely not. Definitely not. So, I mean, right now it is in the positive. It's in the green, not by much in the green. But I'm looking for that 55. Like that 55 would be a very significant profit for me. It's a $5 increase. Now, the NEO position that I had was not a very significant profit, even though it went up 25%. It went from $20 to $25. But the profit in USD wasn't there at all, and I wasn't too happy with that. It's like, well, I didn't buy much, so I can afford to hold this. So to me, really having NEO, the position that I have, it's not that big of a deal. But I do have to me, it's a sizable position in LTC. So for it to get a $5 increase from 50 to 55 is pretty significant, and I would be happy to lock in those profits. And then waiting for a dip. OMG, super long term. Yeah, I wouldn't mind buying it back. I'm just not ready to buy it back yet at the current level. So, I mean, last time I bought it at 9, sold at 12.50, and then sold the rest at 13.50. And I only sold a little bit at 12.50, but I considered the $9. I really did, because that $9 or 8.96 does put it right at the 38.2 retracement. But with the craziness in this market, it's not even worth it. I would rather wait for some sort of confirmation, or and really the only way to get a massive entry on a crazy dip is to have that offer in the book. So, if this thing gets close to that 50% retracement, and if she doesn't have any type of confirmation of a sustained possible up move, I'm not going to stick with that 750. I'm going to take that 750 off, and I'll play the 61.8 retracement, which is right around the 620, 615-ish, something in that range there, just so I can try to get a better entry. Now, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. It's really no sweat off my back. If it hits, that's great. If it downtrends, I'm going to shut down my computer and enjoy myself a beer. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining Crypto Traders Room. This is your host, Crypto Trader, aka Jonas, and one of the only places that we eat, drink, sleep, dream, trade, and invest in digital currencies. I want to thank everybody for joining. Stefan, the Dubai Review, Mr. Black, Lafa Basin. Awesome to see you on this live stream, and I hope you become a regular and join us more. Andreas, I know you're not on here anymore. Scott M. Thank you guys for joining. Potters. Try to give you guys a little bit of a shout out here before I end this. Crypto never sleeps. Man, I like that name, and you were absolutely right. It never sleeps. So unless you have those lowball offers in the book when the market crashes and you're sleeping, because we need sleep. Even though cryptocurrency never sleeps, we need sleep. That's the only way to be able to function and to have a clear mind when you're actually trying to analyze these charts and get into a trade. But thank you so much for joining, Vince Vegas. And everybody else that's on this, anybody new that has found us, it's a pleasure to have you. Welcome. And don't forget to click on that subscribe button, post notifications, stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. Pound that like button if you find this information helpful. And, if you find some crazy news out there, feel free to share it with us. You can share it with us when this video is uploaded as a comment, or if you're on our general Slack chat room, and you can join that Slack chat by going to CryptoTradersRoom.com, filling out the brief questionnaire. And then, we'll get your invitation, and we'll weed through and go through those questionnaire submissions. And then we'll be able to send out an invitation to our general Slack chat. And it's a great community. It's a community that's really sharing some valuable information, whether it's technical analysis, breaking news, fundamental analysis. And if you do join our general chat room, make sure to bring value to it, because that's really the only way that this room is going to grow. We're not looking to spread FUD. We're not looking to cause any panic. We're not looking to pump and dump. We want to be an informed trader. And, if we have that information and we're able to share that information, whether it's positive or negative about a cryptocurrency, we're able to make an informed decision and not get trapped in some of these trades. So that's really the goal for Crypto Traders Room, is to, provide that valuable information so that we can all make an informed decision on our trade. But thank you so much for joining. Enjoy your day. Until tomorrow, this is Crypto Trader. Thank you so much.